Be logical, folks. The only person you put at risk, even by the medical industry's own stupid logic, is yourself if you refuse to be vaccinated. Think about it. If everyone else is vaccinated, then they shouldn't get the disease, right? Then the only person you're putting at risk by not being vaccinated is you. Makes sense. Then how does the government dare to justify forced vaccination? Folks, it will only happen if you let them, and it is happening right now. Now, you've been conned another way, and this is by the word virus, because you think you know what a virus is, and you do not. Rest assured that viruses are not what you think they are, and I'm going to quote you a little bit more from Wayne James to give you a hint. All living organisms, including bacteria and viruses, contain genetic material, which is DNA and RNA. In fact, live viruses themselves are genetic messages. Live bacteria and viruses can transfer their genetic information to animal cells, including human cells, which are taken up by other cells in the body. Although the body generally will not make antibodies against its own tissue, it appears that slight modifications of antigenic character of tissues may cause it to appear foreign to the immune system and thus a fair target for antibody production. Remember what I said earlier about how vaccines give us genetic material that get incorporated into our cells. Thus, vaccines lay the foundation for autoimmune diseases and other disorders of the immune system, such as rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatic fever, lupus, scleroderma, and a lot of other nasty diseases. It is reasonable to assume that our contemporary, quote, epidemic of allergies has at least some of its roots in the practice of vaccination. And again, that's from Wayne James. Now beware, folks, I have saved the best for last. The Clinton administration has buckled the pressure to implement a stepped-up mass vaccination program, and you and your children, if not already, will now be forced to endure all the truly evil effects of these terrible vaccines. Every day I see stories of the various state laws forcing Americans to inject these poisons into their veins, and don't buckle to the pressure because you do not have to, because no one, absolutely no one, can force you to inject anything into your blood, and no one can force you or your children to be vaccinated. I've avoided vaccinations, and you can too. They will threaten you with not letting your kids go to school or not get a job or anything else they can think of, but it is all, excuse us folks, it's all bullshit. However, if enough people do not speak up now, we may all indeed be forced to take in these horrible poisons. Often, all it takes to avoid vaccination is a simple form you can type up for yourself, referring to Senate Bill 942, number 3380, under title Exemption from Immunizations. And let me read that bill right now because it's really interesting. 3380. Immunization of a person shall not be required for admission to a school or other institution if the guardian, parent, or adult who has assumed responsibility for his or her custody and care in the case of a minor or the person seeking admission themselves files with the governing authority a letter or affidavit stating that such vaccination is contrary to his or her belief. The other thing you can do is go to your doctor and ask for a vaccination guarantee. Basically, what you say in this little form is that you're guaranteeing me that this vaccination will protect me and not cause any nasty side effects, or you will give me $1 million. And if the doctor refuses to sign that, you can refuse to get the vaccination. Now, even better, there's a book written by a lawyer who's done a lot in this area and has a lot of first-hand experience in circumventing vaccination laws. It's called Dangers of Compulsory Immunizations, How to Avoid Them Legally, by Tom Finn. Your best bet is also to get a copy of a little booklet called Vaccinations Do Not Protect by Eleanor McBean. Get a pen, folks. You won't find these books in Barnes & Noble. You can call 203-929-1557. That's 203-929-1557 and ask for Joe Willard, because the only place I know you can get any of the books I talked about today is from an organization called Natural Hygiene in Connecticut. That's 203-929-1557 and ask for Joe Willard. She's a wonderful woman who's done more to help free Americans from medical slavery than anyone I know in this country. The books I mentioned are not free, of course. You still have to pay. It's America. But ask Joe for the McBean book and the Tom Finn book, or even just get the McBean book, because in the McBean book are the forms that I mentioned earlier to exempt you. It'll be $4 or maybe $10 if you get both of them. You can even learn how to travel abroad without getting vaccinated, folks. Get educated and let your representatives in Congress know, and let your family doctors know that you know what's going on, because you have to protect yourself and your kids. And these people, your congressmen and doctors, may not have any clue about any of this, and it's your responsibility to educate them. Because most doctors are woefully ignorant of these things and have also, like you and me, abdicated their responsibilities for most of their life. Now, folks, refuse to be poisoned, refuse to be vaccinated, educate yourself about vaccines,